That's right. Welcome in. Welcome back, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on this week, folks. I got to admit, I'm wound a little tight about this weekend. I just am. I told myself, we have 3 losses. This isn't the end of the world with USC. It sure feels like it. It sure feels like it. So welcome, everybody. I hope maybe everybody's off work with their family for the holiday already. I don't know, but welcome in. So we have a lot to cover. There's a few big things to cover. All right. Number 1, Notre Dame USC. I want your thoughts. I want your keys to the game. I want your predictions. I want to know how you feel about them. I want to know how you feel about us. That's number 1. Number 2, Minchey committed to the Irish. So it's official. Notre Dame has a at least high-level body potential guy in that room for 23. And that's a big relief because 23 quarterback was the one mark on that recruiting class that had everybody nervous, and it looks great, but we don't have that guy yet. We could talk about Bowen in Oklahoma if you want. I don't really want to, but we can if you want. But getting a quarterback like that in that class is a good job. The fact that it's making Narduzzi lose his mind, it makes it even better. So I'm here for all that, quite frankly. And then the college football playoff rankings. What do you guys think about them? Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, TCU, USC, Bama, Clemson. I don't know. What do you think? Here's what's interesting. What's interesting is you're going to have a lot of teams that do not like us, do not like Notre Dame, do not like Always Irish, do not like our fan base. And they are going to have no choice but to sit there and root for the Irish Saturday night in LA. I think that's fun. I enjoy that dynamic. I just think it's entertaining to me. They're going to have no choice. They're going to have no choice but to do that. Okay. So that's kind of where we're at right now. So here's what Brad, I swear to God, Brad Henry, I want to know if you really do like Notre Dame or if you totally hate us and you're trolling every day. I really do. I want to know if your goal here is to see how early in the show you could get my blood pressure up. I do. I wonder if I genuinely don't know. I can't feel it, whether you're a Notre Dame fan or if you're trolling my brains out. I just can't feel the difference, man. It's so much negativity from you, Brad. Here's how I'll put it. Brad Henry, you put so much negativity in this timeline on this radio show that it makes me feel like Brian Kelly's still here. That's how much negativity you put in this chat, as if Kelly's here and we're running in a circle with no light at the end of the tunnel for another decade. That's what it feels like, Brad. I used to have your outlook too, Brad. You know why? Because Kelly was here telling us one thing, doing the other. The goal is to win a championship, but I'm not going to recruit hard. Oh, okay. Cool. So I'm sorry, Brad. I just don't know whether you are a Notre Dame fan or not. I can't tell. But you sound like me in the Kelly era when we were doing the same thing every year, running it back, and we were all just supposed to accept it because he beats 9 or 10 teams everybody should beat in a year. No. Okay. Brad says he's legit. Maybe you're just a glass half empty Notre Dame guy then. That's fine. But it's heavy, man. It's heavy for some of this stuff Notre Dame has going on. Brad, earlier you said you're not a believer in Freeman yet. So Brad's saying he's not a believer in Freeman. You could have never been a believer in Kelly then, right? Freeman already has a better win than Kelly ever had. So if after that you're not a believer in Freeman, you must have never been a believer in Kelly because he never had a win anywhere close to the quality or impressiveness of the Clemson win. Even if you tell me Clemson was overrated, begging for a loss, this was coming, fine. I agree with you. It's still a better, more impressive win than anything Kelly had. So if you're not a believer in him, in Freeman, you never could have been a believer in Kelly. Never came close. Never came close to that level of win. All right. Sorry. Got off to the races on that. Brad he types in the exact thing that I feel like he knows is going to get me going. Oh, my gosh. Oh, boy. All right. Phone lines. Feel free. I want to know what's on your mind. We could talk about the CFP rankings. We could talk about your keys to the game. You could predict the game. You want to give me a prediction of Michigan, Ohio State? Go for it. Kent, I see you in here. Happy Thanksgiving. I'm thankful. Here's the deal. I'm thankful for all of you. There is no show without you. There's no Always Irish. Nobody to call this radio show, chat in without all of you. I love all of you. I appreciate all of you. You motivate me to keep going and pushing this and make it work and grow it. I appreciate all of that. I especially appreciate fans of other teams that are in here. It means a lot when it's Notre Dame because we're all in this together as a family. It means a lot to me when people like Kent come in here from another fan base. One of the Georgia Dogs guys hops in here all the time. The Clemson guy, a Huffer Billy Paul's in here all the time. All of you people, I really appreciate you. You don't even like Notre Dame and you're in here. So that means a lot to me and I appreciate it. So I'm thankful for all that. All right, let's do the introduction, roll call, phone calls. We got a few people stacked up. There's a lot to go over. I'm okay. We could shoot wherever you want to shoot today, and I'm all good. All right, so YouTube, obviously you're here. You know where to find me. Hit subscribe. I appreciate it very much. Give the video a thumbs up. If you're in the chat, hit thumbs up. I appreciate it. It shoots the video out to more people to see it. If you do a thumbs up, it's the back end of YouTube. That's how the algorithm works. So that's why YouTubers ask you to do that. It really does help. Appreciate that. Twitter, search bar, Always Irish, Always Irish Inc. Emails, alwaysirishnd@gmail.com. Audio only. Anywhere you want me, you can locate me. Call in line, 312-988-15. Tell me what you've heard and seen, okay? Fighting Irish Wire. Popping. We have a lot going on. And Johnny, I got a quarterback article I'm going to put together after this. Now that Minchey's in the boat here, I'm going to put something out. So make sure you take a look. Phone calls are adding up. Dr. John's going to be first. As always, we will defer to the king, defer to the sheriff, defer to the good doc. So he's going to be first. Kent. All right, we're going to hit a couple of the chats. Why I do that, folks, is I set this stream up at like 8:30. People jump in and comment before it goes live, and then I want to read those comments when we go live so we're kind of caught up. That's why I do that. Kent, you got your guy, Minchey, and he said he wanted to play for Tommy Reese. Tommy is the man. Couple things, Kent. Number one, a lot of this chat log is on your side this weekend, including myself. All right. If it comes down to Ohio State or Michigan, I think most of these Notre Dame people are picking Ohio State. So I want you to know you're in here engaged in our stuff and fully aware of Notre Dame and you're tied into it. I want you to know on this week, I think we got your back. So Kent, I appreciate you being here. You need to know I think we got your back. It's the lesser of two evils to Notre Dame people. If it meant Michigan loses and is out of the playoff, I'll paint my face silver and put some of them dumb weed leaf stickers on my face or whatever they do. And Kent, don't even make me get into the story of when I lived across from Northwestern Stadium, right across my townhouse, right across from the entrance of Northwestern Stadium. Ohio State was playing Northwestern. I wake up, I look out my window, and that idiot, fat Buckeye nut idiot is dressed like a clown as an adult, helping himself to tailgate on my private patio. My patio, my stoop. This idiot I've never met is dressed like a man-child at 50 on my private balcony tailgating for the Northwestern Ohio State game. I opened my window. I said, get the hell off my patio. And then he looks up and I duck back in my place. And then when he stopped again, I looked down. I said something else mean. I don't like that guy helping himself to people's private property. This ain't your patio. Get off my property, idiot. You're dressed like a clown. You're 50 years old. You have face paint. He's 50 and he has face paint. Anyways, I'd still rather they win than Michigan. To hell with them. Oh, boy. This just might be one of those days, folks. And this jacket's getting hot already. I thought I'd be able to wear it. I don't know. I'm already sweating. Oh, Kent, good to see you. Matt Miller, always good to see you. There's just something about USC week. You're darn right. You're darn right there is. It isn't contrasting styles in football. It's contrasting styles in life. That hits different. That's the difference. All right? Good morning, always Irish Nation. Great to be thankful for what we have. Love y'all. Go Irish. Beat USC. What a nice message, Matt. Glad to have you here as always. Brad. Here we go, Brad. After a deep analysis, I've come to the conclusion that ND does not match up well with USC. I don't like this feeling I'm getting with this game. USC pulls away the second half bigly. What did you think about Clemson, though? Brad, did you think the same thing there? I'm not saying I'm perfect in my USA Today predictions. I have 2 losses in my predictions, and they're not Ohio State or Clemson, right? They're Stanford and Marshall. I got every other game right. I didn't think we'd kill Clemson. I did think they were begging for a loss, and we matched up. I had us winning, but close. Not going to claim I had us beating them out. Beating them big time. Lee Marie, you were all led by some other podcasters to throw digs at Reese since spring. His crime, he worked for BK, a 3-year OC, a young coach being thrown under the bus by couch experts. I mean, all right, if you're going to go that route, then now that has to all be over because Kelly's gone, and then starting with Minchey and Carr, that's over, clean slate, no Kelly influence, right? Like, I could get down with that. If you want to say, look at the recruiting and then let him do it without Kelly, fine. But I'm going to tell you what I need. And I need to see it, and it needs to be obvious. I need to see obvious gradual improvement from these quarterbacks from now on. As in, they get in here, and then each year they get noticeably better. That is called a normal development track at a normal program with decent quarterbacks and coaching. Even this is always my argument. And I know Kelly was involved, but it's my team. I can't help that Kelly was the guy then. The problem I had is even the better quarterbacks we've had recently got worse the longer they stayed in the Notre Dame program. Ian Book's numbers went down the second year he was a starter instead of the first year he took over. Deshaun Kaiser, numbers went down the second year he started, not got better. I can't have that anymore. I can't. Now you're going to have a couple guys with legitimate upside, talented bodies in Minchey, Carr back-to-back. If we're running the Tommy thing back and all the recruits love him and all that, and we want to keep that going, fine. But couple things. One is we're hiring David Cutcliffe or somebody to make sure we keep the car on the road. I just need that. I'm sorry. I need it. Stanford and Marshall, some of this stuff. Give me an older guy just for my peace of mind to help keep the car on the road if there's an accident or a wheel starts falling off. And then number 2, I need to see that linear improvement from the quarterbacks. I just do. They have to get better, not taper off. That's just a huge red flag. It means you recruited the wrong guy, so you misevaluated, or you don't know how to develop. Something's wrong. I need those guys to get better. Okay, phone calls 612-737-480-618. You're coming up. Let's get through a couple more of these chats. We'll get to the calls. Drunk Vigo, what's up? Gary Knudsen, let's see what's going on here. Good morning. Love that we're stacking classes in the QB room. That's the key, like talent on talent on talent. And then I've heard people be like, well, John, what does this mean? Doesn't this mean that the quarterback room's going to get crowded and somebody's going to leave? Yeah, sure. Welcome to the world of college football. See you later. That doesn't bother me one bit. You get as much talent as possible in that room, and then whoever's at the bottom can go leave and play at UConn or something. What do I care? I'm sorry. Like, that's how Notre Dame people have to look at this. The last thing I'm concerned about is the guy who finishes 3rd or 4th in the quarterback competition leaving. Like, We got to get serious about winning competitive high-level football. Like, I'm fine if guys leave. Leave me the top 2 or 3 guys. That's how this goes. That's how this should go. Phil Hag, happy Thanksgiving to you, Phil. Ready for some Irish talk? Phil, you're here every day. I appreciate you a lot. I do. Roy, boy, I just want to score one more point than USC. Again, folks, this is one where I'm not looking for style points. I don't care. We're past that point. We're past that point. I'm not worried about that. Find a way to get this win. Phil, controversial take. I got burned for this on Twitter. I put a tweet out earlier in the week saying, objectively, I feel like Thanksgiving dinner is not that special. I'm sorry. It's the food. It's not that special. You eat turkey and mashed potatoes throughout the year all the time. Turkey's turkey. You can get turkey anywhere you go. I prefer the St. Patrick's Day corned beef meal. It's a lot more rare of a delicacy. I don't seek out corned beef the way that turkey's hanging around all over. I just think it's an overrated meal. Turkey and mashed potatoes is just, that's run-of-the-mill stuff. Rudiger, it's always good to have you here, Angela. Happy Thanksgiving. Here we go. Phil says, at least if we're not in the playoffs, we're disrupting the playoffs. I guess that's a good consolation prize, about as good as you're going to get, right? Oh, man. Paul Conley, good to see you here. Always good. Jaded, it's good to see you guys. Go Dogs. Yeah, you guys are sitting pretty too. Hopefully you could beat old Swamp Thing if you meet him. Oh, Deborah Thomas, good to see you too. Kent, we got your back, Kent. I'm telling you, our people. Greg, it's good to see you, Greg. Go Buckeyes this weekend. I'm telling you, I'm picking you guys over Harbaugh any day. Not even close. Drunk says work is for suckers. Mikey Pole's in here. He's probably pushing a bunch of weight while he's listening to the show, staying in shape. Phil says it must be cold. Got the game day jacket. It was a little chilly in here. I had to run outside, do something real quick. Roger Dodger says, fight on. We got a USC person in here. You guys going to put down the surfboards and act like you care about football for this one? Or is the stadium going to be 80% empty? Or is everybody going to hang 10 in the morning and then go on over to the stadium and fake like they care about football? It really rubs me the wrong way. You guys just don't care. You're fair weather as can be. I get it. It's LA. There's a lot to do. There's the beach. There's a lot going on in California. I get it. I just don't take you seriously when all of a sudden you fill the stadium up and act like you care out of nowhere. No, fraudulent, fake fan base. Front runners. You're front runners, just like Colin Coward. Doesn't talk about nothing. USC's good. He's on it every day. Front runners. I don't respect it. I do not respect it. Sorry. Shake down the thunder, John. I'm trying to every day on this show. Burt Reynolds. Burt's here. Anytime there's a celebrity, you got to say, what's up? All right. We're ready for the calls, I think. I got most of the people jumping in here. The format. Bruce, it's good to see you, Bruce. I owe you a phone call. I missed you last night. Morning, team. Hope everybody's well. Thanksgiving wishes to you all, by the way. Be thankful for your health, life, family, knowledge, and Notre Dame football. Bruce, that's very well stated. Got to meet Bruce. He traveled from Jacksonville for his first Notre Dame game, came into town. Unfortunately, it was for Stanford. And I did get to meet Bruce for the first time. Wonderful family. Served in the military. Just the most respectful, nice guy. Glad to have you in the Notre Dame fan base, Bruce. Good guy, great family. Love your wife, kids. You got it going on, man. Good job. Roger Dodger thinks that Michigan, Ohio State going to be low scoring. Injuries piling up for both teams. This week, Notre Dame scores 37. I haven't picked my score yet, but I'm guessing it's going to be somewhere in that range. Notre Dame's going to put up some points. It's just a matter of how much is USC going to do the same. All right, let's get to the calls. Dr. John first, 737-480-618. Anybody else jump in after that? Dr. John, you're on the air. Happy Thanksgiving, my friend.
Well, happy Thanksgiving to you, even though you don't like the holiday, apparently.
I like the holiday. The question was about the food. I just think turkey and potatoes, and you could get that any day of the year, and it isn't that fancy. That homemade corned beef and bread, John, that's different. That hits me different.
Well, I'll tell you what, you're going to have to get on a plane. I'm back here in lovely Livingston, Montana. You get on a plane, get here for a vegan Thanksgiving dinner tomorrow at my daughter's.
Wow.
All new stuff.
I don't know how I would function in that environment. Wow. That's a new one. Good for them. They're trying to stay healthy. Good for them.
Yeah, well, we do have a turkey coming, but I don't think I'll touch it because the guy that's bringing it is a huge Michigan fan.
It's probably poisoned. Yeah, I wouldn't trust that at all. You kidding me? You know what I do? Bring that turkey back to life and throw it in a room with them and let them fight it out.
Anyway, man, that was exciting news about Minchey. Now, if we landed somebody through the portal, that room just flips right around, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really is. It's kind of a sigh of relief just because the Dante Moore thing got us excited very early. That trended away from us. Notre Dame was in a bad spot then, kind of having to backtrack down the list from there. And this was a big save. It was the one glaring weakness left in the 23 class. It's been addressed. Stacking it with Carr should make people feel very good. There's a lot of legitimate potential there now.
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty positive about it. Hey, I watched your USC predictions or 5 points thing, and I have to agree with him. I'd like to add a couple.
Please do.
Pine needs to manage this game like he did Clemson.
Yep.
Take care of the ball. The other thing I would add is we need a clean game penalty-wise. SC gets penalized all over the place, so that would be a huge factor if we can stay away from the penalties. And then the other thing is what you said. We just got to pound the ball again. Yeah. Estimate digs. Keep on doing it.
I found myself thinking the Clemson path is very similar to this one. You got to power run the ball, not rely on Pine to win it, but he's got to make a few key throws when they're there. And then defensively, I could see this going a bunch of different ways with our defense facing USC's offense. That matchup I'm interested in till the day is long. I think we're going to be able to move the ball on them. How our defense does against that high-flying offense has my attention. What do you think?
Well, I've got the defense start. I think that's where the game's going to be won. First of all, contain Williams, get some pressure on it, and then make some plays on the back end. Man, if Morrison can continue his stuff, that would be just fantastic.
You know what, John, you know what else I'm thinking about?
Yeah.
You know what else I'm thinking about? Think about Isaiah Foskey. I am not sure what's going to happen with a bowl game. There is a realistic possibility that this will be his last game at Notre Dame. And I know nobody's ready to think about that yet, but I'm thinking about it. Some of those NFL guys, if they're going to play in the bowl game or not, I could see Foskey wanting to let it rip one more time in LA. If that's going to be the last one under the bright lights, go block you a punt and strip sack this guy twice. Like, I think there's going to be a little extra motivation in this ball game. I just think our guys are going to recognize how big of an opportunity it is, and I need them to be ready for it.
I think so too, and I tell you what, I wouldn't blame him one iota if he doesn't play in the bowl game.
Yeah,
they're risking a lot, those kids, especially the guys that are going to go, in the first, second round. No, unless you're playing for a national championship, don't risk it. Don't risk it. Anyway, my score, I think if we hold them to 24 or less, we're going to win this game. And I've got it down as 31-24.
Okay, so if you got, man, 20, if we gave up 24 to them, I would take that right now. Like, if you didn't tell me, John, if you didn't tell me anything about what Notre Dame does offensively, and you just said, John, 24 points for USC, I would take it 100 times out of 100 and then figure out our end with the ball later. I would take that deal, whatever it looks like, 100 out of 100 times.
Yep, I would too. I would too. A little personal note on USC. The games I've been at, won 3, lost 4, and tied 1. And I've been at some pretty special games. Unfortunately, 2 of my losses. Of course, I was at Bush as you were, and then I was in the Coliseum in 1964 when Ira brought that 9-0 team in there, and we got hammered in the second half. And I still have nightmares. I see Mike Garrett running around the stadium outside with his helmet in the air, and I'm ready to puke. But the upside one was I was at the 77 green jersey game too, as I've said before. So, but anyway, I've lost 2 in the Coliseum, so just be glad I'm not there.
Yeah, there you go. Sit this one out. I used to have a running list of all the Notre Dame games I've been to and the result and who it was against, and I lost it in a move, but it was very interesting over the decades to see the trends of all those wins and losses. Do you have any, John, this is so important to me to get the first win of this matchup when each team has a new coach. Am I over dramatizing how important that is just because of my ego and my desire to maintain leverage over this matchup? I just think it's important you get off to a good start year one. We both have new head guys.
Well, I tell you what, whether you're crazy or not has nothing to do with it.
Yeah, that's a different issue.
A huge game.
Yeah.
Huge game for us. Just, oh man, to finish the season like that. Wow, I would just be so tickled for Marcus and for these kids that turned this around. It would be fantastic.
Yeah, things could have really turned dark after Stanford, John. Things could have turned dark. Like, guys could have packed it in and then internally start questioning Mark. Things really could have turned dark, and they didn't. And Notre Dame fought their way out of it, and I appreciate it.
Well, and that's coaching too, John. That is coaching.
Yeah.
You've got to stay with your team and bring them over those hurdles, and he did it. So,
yeah.
Okay, I'm going to get off and go back to YouTube. But you want me to check out the flights from O'Hare or Midway to see if I can get you in time for that vegan?
I would fly there to hang out with you, but do we got to eat vegan when I do it? You guys can have any.
My daughter wouldn't let you in the house, probably.
Yeah, I wouldn't blame her. But honestly, John, have a good time. Enjoy your family. Relax, and then get ready. Saturday is going to be a big day, not only for us, but for everybody. It's a big, big day, and I think everybody's excited.
It's always a fun day. It's always a fun day. But go Irish. Hey, by the way, the Pope outlawed Trojans anyway, so they shouldn't even be there.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, bud. Have a great Thanksgiving. Go Irish.
You too. Go Irish. And I mean this genuinely. I am thankful I got to meet that man. My grandparents are gone. I'm not trying to age him. He is my surrogate Notre Dame grandfather since mine are gone. And I get that feel from him about talking about the old games and all that stuff. He doesn't have a choice. He's my surrogate grandfather. Okay. All right. Let's see. What else do we have? Here we go. We got Baylor, man. That's a new one. I haven't had any Baylor people in here. Welcome, welcome. Freeman has gotten India in the right direction. I'm glad somebody else thinks so outside the fan base. We're going 737-480-618. Anybody else, jump in after that if you want. Pat says competition creates competition, which breeds success. I'm assuming that's in reference to the quarterback dynamic in that room. I'm sorry, folks. You can't worry about hurting feelings. And if you're going to lose a guy, you can't worry about that. You let the competition play out, okay? And if guys need to leave and go play somewhere, God bless them. I don't judge anybody for that. Leave me the top 2 or 3 physical upside guys, okay? Vic2 Productions, good morning. Good to see you here. There's some new people here. I think maybe people are off work or something, so they're hitting me at a time that usually doesn't work for them. Here we go. The Golden Playbook. I think Marcus Freeman is the guy for the job. People were giving him crap after 2 games. Some of the fan base wasn't giving him a chance at all. I don't know. I love the guy. I wanted him right away. Right when he was hired as defensive coordinator, I knew he was going to be the head coach. And if anybody's going to doubt that, go. It's all logged on YouTube. 3 weeks after he was hired as defensive coordinator, I was telling people he needs to be the next head coach. I was hearing things behind the scenes, the way he was recruiting. My contacts working on campus were telling me the guy's been here 3 weeks and the recruiting department cannot keep up with his paperwork. He is causing nothing but problems because he is recruiting so much they can't even keep up with it. That was when he was here 3 weeks as a defensive coordinator a few years, 2 or 3 years ago. And right then I was like, dude, that's the kind of guy you need running Notre Dame. A guy that's that relentless recruiting. Andy's young, Andy's modern, Andy's hip, and everybody loves him. This is our guy. Let's roll, baby. Let's roll. What else do we got here? All right, now everybody's talking about the food. Oh, Brad, Henry, John, the surfing crowd. It always gets me, man. I just picture all these dudes in LA hanging 10, man. Spicoli out there. If anybody gets that reference, Spicoli out there. Whoa, dude. And they're out there catching a wave. And then, USC's playing Notre Dame. Maybe we'll go down to the Coliseum in our flip-flops and act like we care about football. It just rubs me the wrong way. All right? You see all those pictures of all their home games, and there's 14 people in the crowd. Nobody cares. When they're good and there's going to be media there and it's a place to take Instagram photos, the whole place will be full this week, faking like they care. They don't. They care about attention, not football. That is a difference. USC cares about attention, not football. Big difference. What do we have here? Bruce says, I'm actually pushing for Michigan close. That would force the committee to either put 2 Big Ten teams in or expose their hypocrisy in favor of the SEC. I get it. The problem is I don't want Michigan in the playoff. I don't. Like, Bruce, I get the mature philosophical box you're trying to put the committee in to have to explain their way out of this with their rationale. And I respect your intellect to try and box them in philosophically with their arguments. But my hatred for Michigan trumps your logical approach. I don't know how else to say it, Bruce. You know me long enough to know how I feel about Michigan. That's going to trump your logical approach to philosophically boxing these clowns in. So I'm sorry to have to say it. It's just the way it is. My hatred for Michigan can overcome a lot of logic. I'm not saying that's good. I'm just saying it's the way it is. Terry, they're giving out free tickets over there at the Coliseum for LSU fans. That's the only way. Oh, man. What else do we got here? All right, let's get back to the calls. The chats are coming in hot and heavy. I'll keep up with them as I can. 737, what's going on today?
John, good morning. How are you, sir?
I'm doing very well. There's just a lot going on, man. There's a lot going on. The Minchey news is good news. We have a huge weekend nationally in college football, and all eyes are looking to LA.
I got anxiety already. I said that last night. I could feel the anxiety that's building because it's such a big game. I can't believe that it's the last game of the season either. Yeah, it's gone so fast.
It really has. You know what? Can I stop you on this for a second? You brought up something I was thinking about last night, and I'm glad you did. Thank you. You said you're feeling that anxiety, that big game buildup. I was thinking about that last night. I'm feeling that too. And it's something I'm really thankful for this year, that given how the year started, we came back enough that we're even in the position to have that kind of big game anxiety. If we were sitting here with 5 or 6 losses, I don't think it would be possible. But the way this team turned it around and put themselves in position for this to be a huge game, I'm really thankful for that. I feed off that big game vibe, turn it in my stomach, and we got it. And so I'm appreciative of that. I'm thankful for that.
Yeah, probably not a popular sentiment to share, but regardless of how the game goes on Saturday, I'm still pretty amazed at the turnaround that we saw, and I think it bodes well for our future in terms of moving forward. Because there was a point where I was figuring, hey, we're going to be 500, or we're even going to post up a losing record just after those, Stanford and Marshall losses. Thinking we look at the teams we're playing ahead of that, or in front of that, or after that, and you compare those teams we lost to the teams we're going to be playing. It was looking bleak. So, I think we did a pretty good job in coming back. Obviously, Freeman and team and players kind of got it together. So, again, I'm happy in terms of the turnaround that we saw. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it could have turned really dark, man. It could have turned really dark on a new head coach, all caved in on him. The recruiting class totally folds. You're out of the mix for a quarterback. Things were dark middle of the year. That drive home the night of October 15th from the Stanford game back to Illinois was not a very comfortable one. I mean, it was rough. I mean, it was me and my dad in silence driving back, just shaking our heads. Really rough night. Could have all turned on us, and it didn't. So credit to the coaching staff, credit to the players. A lot of that's player driven, and they fought through it. Can you tie a bow on it and beat USC? This is, wow, what a way to end the year if they pull it off.
I think we can, and I think we should. Like if you're looking at the numbers and really kind of going through everything, this is going to be, I don't want to say by far, but by a pretty good margin, the best defense that USC is going to see or has seen all year. I mean, we're ranked number 17, and if you kind of look at where USC has played and who they've played against and where those teams rank and as it sits today, any team that had any shape of a good ranking in terms of defense, you got Utah that actually beat USC. They lost that game, but they put up 42 points. And then you have Oregon State. They're ranked number 25. They held USC to 17 points, but lost the game and only put up 14. But you look at everybody else, and if you went down the line, you're going down and looking at the schedule, the defensive ranks are 69, 111, 58, 102, 53, 126, 105, 130. So we're gonna be the best defense they've played, certainly on paper. But I think in terms of physicality, we will probably be the most physical team they've played all year. And I want to see if they can hang with that, because I don't think that they personally can. So if we come out and we get those few initial stops right off the bat and just play tough, I think we're gonna surprise them. I don't think that they're ready for for what's coming. I think we're going to be up for the game. We historically this year been pretty good in terms of playing away and certainly playing up to our competition. So I think we should see that. I look at the numbers, and they're giving up 4.6 yards per rush.
Yeah,
and that's to the teams that they've been playing.
Yep.
They don't have a huge strength of schedule. So I think we could run the ball on them. I think we could run the ball fairly consistently on them.
Me too.
And here's the other thing. all the pressure is on USC, just like Clemson. We could play a little bit looser. We're going to come in there. You know, they got to win Saturday. They got to win Pac-12. They got to do.
They got a Heisman guy that wants to wrap a bow up and win the Heisman in all the bright lights of LA. You're absolutely right. And that should allow Notre Dame to play free as can be. Even if we lose this game, the playoff wasn't on the line for the Irish. There is no reason to hold back. Like, if you have any plays you've been holding on to all year, haven't run, anything tricky you want to do, I'm all for it this week. Like, you're out here to ruin this Heisman and ruin their playoff dreams. That is what you're doing. Aside from just you finishing up your 9-3 and salvaging somewhat respectable season. I'm with you. I wouldn't mind seeing something tricky this week they haven't done yet. If they need to, if you're plowing them in the running game, you may not need to. But I'm with you. Notre Dame should play free as can be.
Yeah, they got their primary running back is out. They're 105th against the pass. So I keep coming back to it. I don't know if it's just me hoping or if it's maybe a premonition. I don't know. I feel like Pine is going to have one of his 70% games. I think he's going to do well this week. I think they're going to be pumped up. It's the last year. I think Pine wants to put a ball on it too. I mean, you know, he's taken a lot of crap, we'll say. But here's the number. USC lives and dies by the turnover.
Yep.
They got 4 against UCLA. Our turnover margin has literally flipped. And you look at the first 6 games of the year, we were -6. You look at the 5-game winning streak that we've had, we're +6. So if we're good in the turnover margin, I think it's great because again, if USC doesn't get those 4 turnovers versus UCLA, they don't win that game. But if you look at it, their defense is not great either. I think where all those interceptions and turnovers are coming in is you got a lot of teams that have crappy. We'll say crappy. I know I don't want to curse, but crappy defenses that are trying to keep up with their offense and pushing that ball down the field, and that's what's turning into a lot of those turnovers. We're not going to have that problem, so I don't think we're going to see those turnovers. Hopefully, you know, Pine's not bouncing them off of people's hands and helmets, and we'll kind of see where that goes. But I think we got a great shot. I really, really do. I'm looking forward to it, and we'll see how it goes. Like I said, I got a little anxiety about it.
I think
that bothers me.
I think here's where I'm at. I feel the way you do. However, I also said when we entered the Clemson game, and I'm saying it now again, I feel like we have a terrific chance, and it's perfectly feasible for Notre Dame to do this. However, they have to follow a specific roadmap. And they did against Clemson. Everything in the roadmap went their way. It exactly lined up with my roadmap of how Notre Dame could win that game. I think it may be even more important that you keep that roadmap intact this week, meaning you can't afford to get behind 14 points to this team. Notre Dame's not built to come back from that the way we want to run offense and all that. We're not going to, if we're in a shootout, throw it around, score, we're going to lose. Like, I love our chances. If we get into this game and the roadmap's kind of our way with how we're dictating, I love the chances even more as the game goes on. You can't let anything dumb happen early to where you end up down 10 points or 14. Now you're in trouble, and I don't like that at all. Notre Dame has got to dictate the pace of this game and the style of the game to be our game and make them play our game, not the other way around. It's a big deal this week.
Yeah, we're not a come from behind or shootout team.
Nope, can't do it.
Have to control the tempo.
Can't do it. And then the other thing I'm putting in my preview, same thing I did with Clemson. Steal a possession, steal a score somewhere. The block punt, whatever you're gonna do, I don't care what it is. But with a team that could score like this, find a way to steal you one, just like you did against Clemson. You stole more than one. You stole a bunch in that game. I don't need all of that again, but give me something.
I think we're going to come out. I think that they're going to be surprised at the physicality that they see. The thing that bothers me is everybody's got USC in the playoffs already. You know, they've already won this game. They've already won the Pac-12 championship, and they're in the playoffs. Like it's crazy to me that how much people have. And here's the thing: USC is, in as far as I'm concerned, is a bought and paid for team at this point. And
Yeah.
So hey, they're hey, we're looking at a good year this year, but look at the teams that have been bought and paid for through transfer portal, through the NIL, like all this. And two majors with Michigan State, man, they came out hot a few years ago. Everybody wanted to be there. Everybody was talking about that coach. Look at Michigan State this year. Texas A&M through NIL had the best recruiting class in the country, and they're tanking. And Jimbo Fisher's on the verge of getting pushed out. So I don't think selling your soul for NIL or the transfer portal is the long-term answer. And so I think USC is probably good this year, but in terms of long-term consistency with players that you're bringing in and going up, and we'll see what the recruiting class looks like. But that team is just bought and paid for. So I don't see, again, I won't give them a ton of credit because again, that's just the way it went. But we'll see how they go long term. Makes me feel better when I look at historically the teams that are winning in that regard. And that almost goes in every sport. All those teams that come in, buy a team.
Yeah.
It's only a matter of time before they have to sell it off. And
I just think
and deal with the consequences.
You don't have as much stability when you do it that way. There's a lot of movement, people coming and going. It's hard to maintain a culture because you got guys coming and going all the time. They're not in, and then they're learning your way for a few years. Listen, it's legal now to do the NFL and call Narduzzi's best receiver and get him to go from one end of the country to the other for NIL and bring your Oklahoma quarterback over there with you. I get that it's legal. It still rubs me the wrong way that you could just, what I've been saying all week is this could be anywhere. It just happens to be USC. There's nothing special about it. Lincoln Riley could have dropped in any town and then paid guys and there's nothing special about it. It just happens to be there is where all the money's going. But there's no building it. It's bought and it rubs me the wrong way. Even if it's legal, people are going to say, John, there's nothing wrong with it. Fine. It rubs me the wrong way as a college football guy. Sorry. It's just the way I think.
Yeah, I'm not taking away from Lincoln Riley. I think he's a great coach. And obviously that shows just in the success that he's had in a short time here and obviously in Oklahoma. So, but I just think that you're selling your soul for the quick wins, for the early turnarounds, and maybe he's the one that figures it out. But for those that have done it so far, the long-term ramifications have been on the lower side as opposed to the higher side.
And then here's the other thing that gets interesting. Here's the other thing we have to consider with this is very shortly, USC is going to be playing a Big Ten schedule, not a Pac-12 schedule. That's a big deal. That changes a lot. And then if they get rid of divisions the way they're talking, their whole dynamic's going to change a lot. Not to mention, they're going to be playing some cold weather games. I don't think them LA boys are going to like playing Iowa in late November when it's 12 degrees and frozen. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. Again, I know their strength of schedule is not ridiculously hard, but it's not super easy either. I think they're going to be a little on the soft side, but we'll see. Again, we'll see how it comes out. It's going to really again be just one of those. Who's going to be the first one that comes out, imposes their will on the other team, and just kind of keeps it? I think somebody said it before, maybe with Dr. John. He was talking about, closing down Caleb Williams. Obviously, that's what we have to do, and hopefully we'll see who's spying him. I know you got a bunch of callers and a bunch of stuff going on today. There's a lot of activity, and so I'll touch on real quick just Minchey and the commits. I was hearing a few things. I knew Minchey was going to commit just from all the things that I was hearing in terms of how it went down. So I was really excited when he did commit yesterday. One of the things that was interesting that I heard was that him hurting his shoulder made him reconsider the way that everything was going, meaning he looked at it and he said, hey man, if I'm going to do this, let me have the best, insurance policy, which is obviously a degree from Notre Dame.
Yeah.
If football doesn't work out for him. And I think Freeman early on in the year was saying, we don't talk about 4 years. We talk about 40 years. and how Notre Dame sets you up.
Yeah.
Not just for just a few years after, but for life.
That's
So
a very
I think
mature.
that's why it came over.
That's a very mature perspective. Oftentimes, when you have that, you'll also find behind the kid there's parents or family that are looking at the big picture too. Like Notre Dame's just different, and and it wasn't a deal where, hey, leave Pitt and come over here and we have about $3 million in NIL for it. That was not the deal. That is not Notre Dame's deal, and they're very upfront about that. So, yeah, it's exciting, man. You're going to have some real potential in that quarterback room to build around, and momentum's trending up, and it'd be trending up a lot harder if you get this win Saturday night.
Yeah, Notre Dame's graduation rate is like 98% for football players. I'd love for somebody to tell me what's Alabama, what's LSU. What are those graduation rates? Because last I heard, I think they were like in the high 60s to 70% range.
You know what?
I mean, again,
hey man, you either buy into the Notre Dame thing or you don't. Like, I'm not going to force it. I don't want anybody here to give them a scholarship that doesn't want to be here. So whatever, there's going to be frustrations, but I want people here that want to buy into it. I think it's harder that way, but you could be rewarded big time building it that way. So, hey, are you going to be able to call back Friday or Saturday? I'd love to connect with you again before this game.
Yeah, I could try. It just depends on maybe more Friday morning. We'll see what's going on with conference calls and work. But yeah, for sure, I'll definitely be giving it a shot.
Yeah, I appreciate all your stats and stuff you provide. So it log me in on your calendar as a work call. Nobody will know the difference. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, we'll just put it up. I'll just get a cool Zoom Notre Dame Zoom background.
Exactly.
Before I head off, I think a lot of people are talking about Bowen.
Yeah.
And him going to Oklahoma, and I don't know if a lot of people are aware, but Bowen also has a brother who was a linebacker for the class of 2024. They do visits together. He is looking at Oklahoma, from what I understand, and he also came during some of the Notre Dame visits. He has not made a commitment yet, but here's the thing that probably a lot of people aren't aware of. If you are committed to Notre Dame, then you cannot take an official visit to another school. It has to be unofficial. So the visit that he made to Oklahoma was an unofficial visit. I'm thinking most likely with his brother. But also, too, and this is one of the things I appreciate about Notre Dame, is that if you have committed to another school, you can't make a visit to Notre Dame as an official visit unless you're not committed to the other school. So, that's why Kenny Minchey, when he came to make the visit, he had to decommit from Pitt because he couldn't come to Notre Dame on an unofficial visit as he was committed to another team. So I don't think that we lose Bowen. I think that because of Minchey, it's just made it even stronger. And if Bowen stays, which who knows? I mean, again, all these kids should soak up that whole process, because good for them that they have the ability to do that. Go see all these amazing schools. Go to all these different places. Kind of be able to make a really good decision about what's best for you, because that's what's going to get us the best player. I mean, if that kid decides Notre Dame is his spot, we're just gonna get more of him for it. So I don't think we lose him. He does have a brother. The brother is recruiting and looking, again, apparently a linebacker. He's got a lot more build to him than Peyton Bowen does as a defensive back. But I don't think we lose him. And again, he's committed to Notre Dame and made an unofficial visit. So, but I will say this, John, listen, I know there's one game left in the season. This is my first year following, listening, and calling on your show. It has made the season for me a lot better, a lot less stressful, because again, you could talk through some of these issues. And I just want to say, man, one of the things I'm thankful for is always Irish, and being able to call in a few times a week, vent out. And I'm looking forward to continuing to listen and call in. And so just want to say I appreciate you, and happy Thanksgiving to you and to all the listeners.
Thanks a lot, man. I really appreciate it. Like I always say, none of this happens without people that want to join and be a part of it and watch and listen and jump in. So I really appreciate it. We're one big Irish family, and we're all in this together. Even Kent, I guess, will allow, all in the Irish family here, the always Irish family at a minimum. But thanks for the kind words. Enjoy Thanksgiving. Try and relax. Drink a beverage or two. Knock down some of the stress. and then we'll crank it back up Friday and Saturday, and let's see what happens, my friend. Happy Thanksgiving.
John, I appreciate it, man. You as well. Enjoy time with the family.
Take care. What a nice guy, man. He calls all the time, nice as can be. All right, we got 480-618-818-937-219. 480. How's it go? Oh, I thought I hit the button and I didn't. My bad. 480, you're on the air. My bad, man.
Hey, what's going on, John?
A lot's going on, man. There's just a lot of moving parts this week. Like we're coming to the end of the year here. What's top of your mind on Thanksgiving week, man? What do you think of all this?
Well, of course, I've been watching a lot of the college football stuff, man, in terms of just listening to different, commentaries and people talking about USC overhyping them, saying they're already in the playoff. And, you got USC battling LSU about, who should be 5, who should be 6. You got LSU fans now tweeting with us, Irish fans, to beat the living crap out of USC so that they can shut up about why they feel like they deserve to be in the playoff. It's kind of funny, man, how the season has really shaping up where we're like the centerpiece of everybody's hopes and dreams of getting into the playoff.
Isn't it wild?
Funny,
the team that everybody hates,
yeah.
and a handful of these fan bases are going to have to sit there and root for us, and they're all going to hate it. And they're going to have no choice, and they're going to have to pull for us to look good, and it's going to hurt them. And I'm here for it.
I mean, I watched the game last week against the USC played against UCLA, and like the previous caller said, a bunch of what most of these teams that don't have really good defenses have tried to do is just play catch up, play match for match, tic tac toe, and it's like, okay, you can't play that kind of game if you don't have the type of defense personnel to get a stop. And a lot of these turnovers that UFC, I can't even think about. I don't like USC, man. I'm sorry, I can't stand them.
Yeah.
A lot of turnovers that USC has gotten has been off of these defensive backs and linebackers just jumping routes. So I think that we're going to contain a lot of those turnovers. Number one, because we're going to play more smart, conservative in terms of just really pounding the ball with the run game. We're going to make sure that if we are throwing the ball, we're being smart, in terms of where we are, placing the ball. Of course, they're going to be, locking down Michael Mayer. They'll probably try to double team him. Well, then it opens up Deion Coley. It opens up, Styles. And I really want to see Lindsey, man. I think this game, Lindsey can really ball out, man. Because one of the things that I really feel is that they're really underestimating our receiver core.
I can understand why. Can you understand why? I can.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand why, but at the same time, there have been flashes this year that show that there is definite potential to have a great game from that receiver core. I think that this is the game, like the previous caller said, where Pine just puts it all together, man, because this can be his shining moment.
Yeah.
I mean, for one, he saw the future walk in last Saturday, and 6 inches taller than him. He saw the future and said, okay, well, if I really want to have any fighting chance to still get some playing time and be a QB here, I better really start playing some football for real. So I think the whole thing of it all is that, man, this is just a great build up, man, for what everything has happened for this season, the way everything, that looked to be a terrible season, one of the best salvage jobs that anybody could probably think of for any coach, and really think that, man, we're going to show up, man. I mean, this is the moment where Freeman, I really puts a stamp on why we hired him. You know, because while Ohio State is, I think, a little bit better in terms of their receiver core, I don't think we haven't really faced as much of a dual threat in this type of strength of a quarterback like we were with Caleb Williams. Because one thing about Caleb is that he knows how to stretch the field with his legs really good, and he knows how to really make some plays out of a messed up play. Like if it looks like it's about to just crumble, he can really make a play out of that.
He kills
So
people on
really
that. He kills everybody on them broken plays. You know, he gets out of the arm tackles, does a spin-a-rooney, and then either runs for the first down, or by those 8 seconds, one of those deer are open somewhere around the field.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, I think though that we're very sound defensively, and I just think that they haven't faced a physicality that they're going to face with Notre Dame in terms of defense.
Yeah.
And then the offensive line, it's just a joke, man, that they are semi-finalists for the Joe Moore Award, best offensive line, and we didn't even make the list. It's like that in itself, I know Harry Heastand is probably pounding it in their head. Look, they're saying that their O-line is better than you. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
How are you going to show up? Because it's just like a disrespectful gesture, in my opinion. That should be our award, man. Like every year, we need to be on that list, plain and simple. And so that's the type of mentality that I believe that Notre Dame is going out there Saturday night and really displaying for the entire world to watch, because the eyes are going to be on us, man.
Yep.
The eyes are going to be on us.
Yep.
And we really need to show up and show why Notre Dame is going to be back in the next couple of years, why we're going to be back in the championship. We're going to be back in the relevance of winning these big games, because, these are the type of – one thing about it, man, USC, they're not going to just not be good anymore. I mean, Lincoln Riley knows how to get those offensive, explosive guys. So one thing I'm excited for, though, I'm actually happy that USC is, in some degree, looking having that type of, record and stature in the Pac-10. Well, next year it'll be the Big Ten. But, when that team is good, the rivalry is good. I don't like rivalries where it's like Ohio State, Michigan, where Ohio State just smacking Michigan for 8-9 years.
Well,
straight.
you would like it. You would like it if you're an Ohio State fan, right?
Yeah.
And think about it. Look, think about this. As much crap as we give Kelly, or I give Kelly, and as much credit as Kelly got for what he accomplished here, don't deny the fact that Kelly got the benefit of USC being in a dumpster most of his tenure. That helped Brian Kelly a lot. Right. That almost all of his tenure was when USC was down as can be. I'm not forgetting how much that helped him.
Right. That's true. That's true, man. And so, it's kind of like deja vu a little bit, because we're kind of starting to see that resurgence of them again. But, the only differential is that Lincoln Riley's just not known to have a great defense, man. Wherever when he's at Oklahoma, he had that high power offense, highs and, trophy winners, but no defense, man. Defense was just not good.
Yep.
So I think that's where we capitalize, as a team. And, Bosky and Mayer, this is their last go, I believe, man. I don't blame them if they don't play the bowl game, because, you got to protect your interests. And I think that this is going to be their game where they're just going to lay it all on the line, because they know that this is probably their last game. So yeah, I'm excited, man. This is probably one of the best build-up games I can remember since the Bush game. And I was 14, 15 years old at that time. So this is that's probably the last time I remember a USC Notre Dame build-up game to this type of degree. With everything on the line, like, national implications for one team, another team trying to keep trying to maintain that record of potentially having 10 plus wins, in a season, all these kind of things that factor in, man. A Heisman Trophy winner, trying to win the whole, that's a front runner. Like, so much on the line, man. That's what I think makes this rivalry great. And when these two teams are at a good matching top tier type of caliber setup, it just makes the rivalry better, man. But to know that other teams that are in the playoff or on the outside looking in are counting on us to beat USC for a chance it's just hilarious, man.
Yep. It all comes full circle. It all comes full circle. Like, especially should Ohio State beat Michigan, you're going to have all the Michigan people rooting for Notre Dame that night. Like, it's hilarious to me. It's hilarious to me. So what do you think happens, man? You think Notre Dame pulls this off in a close one? What do you see happening out in LA?
I don't think it is going to be a blowout, but I do believe that we'll beat them at least by 10 points. So I'm going 34-24.
There you go.
That if we keep them under 30 points, that's about, man, that's a great defensive game plan for, Al Golden. Because they can just make one play, man, and score a touchdown. That's the type of offense that we're looking at, just like Ohio State. So I think that if nothing else, Golden has learned his lessons playing those type of caliber offenses. And I think he's got a good game plan coming up, man, for Caleb Williams. Because one thing about it, if you watched the last week's game, the early part of the game when they got up 14-0 and he got hit a couple, man, he started getting a little chirpy. When he started getting a little rattled,
yeah,
him and Lincoln Riley started kind of talking at each other and stuff. So I think, man, if you just get in his head, you've already won half the battle.
Yep.
Because if he gets, we just got to hit him, man.
Yep.
They can feel it.
Yep.
They can feel it, man. 2 or 3 just good hits, that's going to be his conscience. Just like when we played Stroud, we hit Stroud a couple times, he kind of got a little bit more, tight end because he knew that, we were there. And so I think that's what the defensive line has to set the tone of in the first couple series of the game, man. And I think that's going to help us in terms of building our confidence and then also getting, potential turnovers, man. Ben Morrison, bro, this is your time to shine.
Let's go.
This is your Hollywood spotlight, prime time, man. Like, I really think that one thing I guess I'm more confident about, John, is that we are going into a game like this, and we have gone into games this year with a better secondary than we've had in previous big games.
That's certainly true.
Offenses, and that's the thing that's more, I guess, a little bit more confident in terms of going into these games. And then also going into a game where we have a coach that we know is going to prepare them for these big game matchups. One thing that Freeman has shown us is that he will prepare teams to play up for these big games. And so I believe that this is just a great opportunity, man, to really take that next step, man, for this season and for this program. I was so ecstatic when we got Minchey yesterday.
Yep.
That was just a great win for the program, man, because one thing I can say is that it shows how powerful recruiting Freeman really has for him to be able to recruit and his staff recruit all these top-tier talent without a quarterback, especially on offense. So that just goes to show, like, normally most programs you have a quarterback and you're saying, hey, you see this guy, you want to run with this guy, you want to have this guy throw the ball to you, this, another. Well, we didn't have that. They're looking at Pine. They're like,
right.
Is Pine going to be the guy?
Yep. Now maybe we got that guy, and then we're going to have another guy the next year.
Right.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's a big deal for that. It's a big deal for that reason.
Absolutely, man. But I will say we definitely need a transfer portal quarterback too.
Yeah, because next year you still have you don't know what you got unless it's Pine, and I know I don't want it. So yeah, I agree with you on that one. Yeah. But man, have a good Thanksgiving. Give me a call back Friday or Saturday morning if you want. I appreciate all your thoughts.
Hey man, thank you, man. Happy Thanksgiving to the Irish Nation. John, thank you for the show, man. Like the previous caller said, you definitely helped us kind of talk our way through a lot of these disappointments and then even the triumphs of this season, man. So thank you for this platform, man, and happy Thanksgiving to you and your family.
I appreciate it very much, man. Thanks a lot. Thanks for being a part of the show. Man, we got some nice callers. All right, we got some more people that want to jump in. That's fine. We're under an hour left. We're going to go quicker so I could get as many of these people through. Here's the other thing. One is, Kent, you're cracking me up. Every single thing you said about Dr. John's phone was hilarious. And you ripped off like 7 or 8 in a row, and they were all funnier than the one before. People are saying some of these calls are like staticky or whatever, and that it's not the callers, it's from my end. I don't hear that though. Like certain ones are crystal clear in my headphones, and other ones have the fuzz, which makes me think it is the caller's phone, not my end. Because the second guy that called in was crystal clear to me, but John was a little fuzzy. So I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. 618, let's make it great. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving to you too, John, man. Just on a couple of things, man. I'm happy that Minchey decided to commit. You know, it kind of got scared. I kind of got scared on Sunday, like, oh man, he hasn't committed yet. But then, you know, a couple of days later, he come out and commit. That was a great thing, man.
Yeah, I had that thought too. I'm like, I know he was on campus for the game and everything. I was kind of waiting for that pop to happen while he was still there, and it didn't. And then I was thinking, I hope everything's still good to go. And now we don't have that worry, and I'm thankful. It's one thing I don't have to worry about anymore.
Now, on to the next. I don't think USC, man, they haven't faced a defense like Notre Dame, man. Notre Dame has a SEC type defense. They fast, they physical. Man, they haven't faced that yet. You know, none of this year they haven't faced. They won't even face it when they play in the Pac-12 title game. They won't face a defense like this.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like they're not going to face a defense all year as good as Notre Dame. The thing is, it just has to show up in this one game. Like we're looking at overall, you know, how offense or defense is for the year. Now we're in the last game. I mean, I get those numbers, and they haven't faced a defense like us, but we got to go out there and force things to happen. We cannot let USC play this game and make it look the way they want it to be. We have to force it to look our way, not bend and play their way.
And then they had, I don't even think they faced a running game this year like Notre Dame yet. You know, Notre Dame physical on the offensive line, the defensive line, their running backs are good. It's just that Pine got to be that game manager, man.
Yeah, and I run the ball. It's the same thing as the Clemson plan. Power run the ball. You got to be efficient at it. And then I'm going to need Pine to hit 3 to 5 throws. I need him to hit to win this game. Like literally offensively, that's all I need to happen. And then defensively, you need to get after this kid. I need somebody spying Williams all day. I am not letting us have good coverage, and then he runs around and gets first down. And no, like I need somebody on that guy hitting him legally every single time.
Yeah, yep. But I think that this game, man, I don't think it'd be close, man. I think they scored 30, but that's about all. I think this is the game that Notre Dame probably score about 45 to 50 points.
Ooh!
That defense is terrible, man.
Man, they wow, that excites me. I know they're bad, but that excites me. If you're getting up into that ballpark of score, I'm very interested. I don't know, man. I'm just thankful this has turned into what it is, a big game. This all could have turned dark on Notre Dame, but instead this is being built up. Great opportunity, man. Great opportunity to get a couple of huge wins year one.
This is Notre Dame, this is a national championship game, man. To knock out SC out the playoffs and the Pac-12 out the playoffs altogether, this is their time, man. You know, this is your national. You got to play like this is your national championship game.
Yeah, it's a big moment, and it's like, you know, it's Hollywood, it's LA under the bright lights. None of that's an exaggeration. All of America is going to be watching that game, and there are going to be some bizarre rooting interests. There's going to be people that hate Notre Dame that have no choice but to hope we win, and I like putting people in that kind of uncomfortable position.
Yeah, and I hate to put them in that position too, and you know, I just think that, man, they don't. And see defense, man, they give up way too many points, and I just think that Notre Dame got a good enough offense to put up at least 35 of the 50 points that I claim that they're going to score. You know, but Pine just got to make a few throws. You know, he can't be missing wide open receivers, and I believe we can run the ball about 250 to 300 yards against them, man.
I did in my little preview. I said 200's got to be the starting point. That's what I want. I'm looking at their defense. 200's got to be the starting point. And if you get to that level, that's enough that it opens up anything else you want to do. 200's my minimum on the ground. Got to have it.
This is the defense that scared Lincoln Riley, man, to leave Oklahoma to go to USC so he couldn't be in the SEC, so he wouldn't have to coach in the SEC. This is the type of defense that he was scared of, and man, I just think that this defense they fast and they physical, man. I know that SC probably fast on offense, but I think Notre Dame just as fast on defense.
Yeah, and the physicality, man. I really, really I hope to see USC struggle when they realize this isn't a soft Pac-12 defense. This is something different. Like, I need Notre Dame to force that issue and make them know, oh, man, this isn't as easy as what we're used to 11 of the last weeks, right? Like, I don't know. Notre Dame's got to bully them up front. It's two contrasting styles. Notre Dame needs to bludgeon them up front on both sides.
Yep. But that was all, man. I'm just happy that Minchey, maybe he could pull in, a couple more recruits. I mean, a lot of the fair weather fans who was talking at the beginning of the season about Freeman, he's going to lose the class, man. It looked like more like even when they was down and out, man, it looked like he was still adding to the class.
Yeah, and it's a good sign. I know finally in my Notre Dame fanhood life in the modern era, I can rest easy at night knowing the head guy understands what it takes to recruit Notre Dame the right way. And I know that every waking moment he's trying to do it. That gives me comfort when my little Irish head hits the pillow every night. I know this guy gets it and he's doing everything he can. So, man, thanks for the call. I really appreciate you jumping in all the time. I wish you and your family happy Thanksgiving. Give me a call back Friday or Saturday morning if you want to talk again before the game.
Okay.
Have a good one, man. Happy Thanksgiving. Thanks for always being here. I appreciate it. Oh, let's see. Matthew says, just saying USC's in a culture shock when they play the Big Ten full time. They're in a weather culture shock for sure. That's what I can't wait. I want a long November in the Midwest plains that are frozen for those guys. That's what I want. You want all the money that comes with being in the Big Ten? Fine. I want all those guys freezing. I just do. Oh, let's go back to the phones. 937 and then 818. What's going on today? Hello? Do I have you? I thought I had him. Call back if I accidentally hung up on you, but I think you hung up on me. 818, what's going on today? Don't. We're not doing it. We're not doing it. We're not doing it. That stupid song. They only know one song. Learn another song. Learn another song. Why are you doing this to me this morning, Rodney? Learn another song. I hate that stupid song. Learn another one. You get the dumb thing on your middle of your hat flopping around, that little thing. Do. Learn another song. I hate it. Learn another song.
Between that and the Florida State chant, man, is there two more annoying, consistent, themes in college football that constantly play throughout the game? I swear to God, that's a strategy, by the way.
It's annoying. I hate it. I just figured that nobody in either of those places is smart, and so all they can remember is one song. And, and the Florida State people, oh, shut up. Shut the hell up. So stupid. So it's not even original. The Braves got it. I do admit it's fun for me to make fun of because I can make it sound dumber than it already does. But way to get me all worked up, Rodney. Listen, you're a guy who lived in LA. What's it like out there at the Coliseum? I've never been, never want to go, will never go. What's it like? A dump?
John, 2002 and 2004, we got blown out in both games. It was raining both nights. I remember that distinctly. On night 2, we got pulled over by the cops coming home. They never told us why they were pulling over. They took us out of the car, searched us for like an hour. They never said why. And then turns out there was a beer can in the back seat, so we had to go to jail that night. They let us out, of course. We just said, hey, we were tailgating. We couldn't find anywhere to fill the can. So miserable, absolutely miserable experiences in every possible way. Both times I was at the Coliseum.
Yeah, that sounds rough. That does not sound fun at all.
And let me tell you, from someone who lived there for 12 years, I'll give the LA fans or Los Angeles credit for 2 things. They are absolutely diehard Los Angeles Lakers fans, no question. And I'd say 1B is the Dodgers. But they are the most fair weather fans when it comes to USC football.
Yep.
I mean, just like you said, man.
I hate it.
Fair weather fans.
I just don't like that. It just rubs me the wrong way because even when Notre Dame's bad, I'm still here, embracing it. And the way I look at it, Rodney, is, and maybe I'm a glutton for punishment, but the way I look at it is, if you're going to be a true fan, you got to ride with the bad and the good equally. You can't just check out when it's bad and when it's good, soak it all in. That's cheating, kind of. So when things are bad, I let it cut me deep and feel what it's like to be that miserable, figuring when we're on the other side of it, it'll feel that much better if we're good. Maybe I'm just a glutton for my own punishment, though.
Well, no, that's the same way, man. I mean, it's unbelievable to me how much I've been hearing about USC ever since they hired Lincoln Riley. I'm like, where were you guys this last decade? I get it. When you're down, you're not going to talk as much about a team. But
yeah.
It's like they all went to sleep and then woke back up on Thanksgiving Day, and here we go. And by the way, I was just going through USC's schedule. If you put this game on paper, USC, if we were playing 7-on-7, USC is maybe the best team in the country.
Yep.
But unfortunately, the game's played with 11 players. And I'm looking at this game, and I'm like, again, I think because it's a rivalry game, it's going to make the game a lot closer. But if you're just looking at it on paper and what we've done all year versus what they've done against 13, this is a 10 to 17 point victory, if you're asking me. Now, I'm still staying with my score of 35-31, just because I think it's a rivalry game. And I'm telling you, man, there's one thing that does concern me, John. And, I thought Boston College would do more of it, and they didn't. Navy did expose, or at least it appears that they exposed some things with the blitz. I'm worried they're going to be blitzing, like, all the time in this game. And I just hope Pine has been schooled enough this week in practice for that. Because I thought Boston College kind of, not probably because they got down by a bunch or, I don't know, but it didn't seem like they were blitzing all that much in that game, and I was kind of wondering why they didn't do that more, or maybe they just weren't good enough at it, and we exposed them. But that's the one thing that concerns me. Obviously, turnovers could flip this whole thing. We need Pine to have a good game on Saturday. He doesn't have to have a great game, but he's got to have a good game. He can't all of a sudden now become a turnover machine.
Yeah, no, you can't have that this week. He's got to play clean, hit a handful of throws when he needs it, no mistakes, just like Clemson. Keep it clean. Make sure we can run the ball. Get Michael Mayer open over the middle. Like, he doesn't need to do too much to win this game. He just can't make mistakes. Can't have it.
Yeah, and I would have someone like Prince Kylie or Jalen Sneed eyeing
Spy.
Williams
Yep.
all game long.
Yep.
You need someone with that kind of athletic ability, I think. And I'm sure, they're not, Alabama's not dumb. I mean, he understands that. I don't know. I guess on paper, this to me is, a relatively convincing victory. But again, I just think because of the rivalry, it probably brings it a little closer. But
I'm saying 35-31, and it probably shouldn't be that close.
There you go, man. All right. That's it. We're booking it 35-31. We'll see, man. So the path is clear. Notre Dame just has to keep the car on the road. You can't get behind. Nothing dumb happens. You can't play catch up. Can't be a shootout. But if Notre Dame can make the DNA of this game look the way we want it to, they're going to be in it all night with a great chance to pull this off. And we're all going to be real happy for a month until whatever bowl game shows up.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I'll tell you, too, I will give USC this. If they do beat us and win next week, the Pac-12 championship, they deserve the playoff. I'll say that for them.
Yeah, I just don't even
think about that.
I know. And I don't want to think about Brian Kelly getting in the playoff either. I don't want anybody to get in the playoff.
Yeah, no kidding. And then, and by the way, I want Kent calling in. He says he's calling in Saturday, and I want everybody hears the phone. Let's hear how clear those calls come in. Hooked on phonics, Kent.
I know, but dude, no, I want Kent to call in too. It's a big game for him. I want him to call in Saturday. Kent, you got to do me that favor, man. For your big game Saturday, Kent's got to call in. I agree with you. So, Rodney, let's see how this goes. I like your roadmap. A path to a Notre Dame win is crystal clear. Can Notre Dame stay on that track all night? That is the question.
Well, again, special teams is going to be huge this week, as it has been every game. I don't know. I just got a feeling there's going to be some weird things in this game. Just because it's Notre Dame, USC, it's probably the most. I'm trying to think in the last decade when this, maybe the 2000, not even, I wouldn't even say the 2017 game. Where we beat them. What was that blowout where Josh Adams went crazy? This is probably the biggest matchup, really, when you consider everything that's on the line in this whole decade. So. It's going to be a fun day for football, man. No question. I can't wait for Saturday.
Yep. So, Rodney, call me back, though, after Thanksgiving, but before the game. Call me back Friday or Saturday, and let's reconnect on this as it gets a little closer, all right?
I'll tell you what, man. I'll be on the road. Wait, no, it's Friday night. Absolutely. Either Friday or Saturday, I'll be giving you a call, John.
Beautiful. Safe travels.
Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to you. John, I'm going to echo what everybody said, man. You have made this so cathartic for all of us Notre Dame fans, both the lows and the highs. Happy Thanksgiving to you. Happy Thanksgiving to your family. And happy Thanksgiving, Kent, and all the and Dr. John.
All the regulars.
And all the time. Absolutely.
Beautiful. Hey,
safe, okay?
Safe travels, and then be in touch before the game.
You got it, buddy.
Later. I don't like, Rodney, your phone. I could hear that one. I love you, but you got something with the earpiece or something, man. I love you. I want to give you more time, but the fuzz is killing me. You got to check them earbuds or something, bud. Here we go. 574. That is local to South Bend, Indiana on the air. Good morning in lovely South Bend.
Yeah, good morning. It's Jason calling from Elkhart.
What's going on, man? I appreciate the call. I love seeing a local number there. What's on your mind?
Yeah, I'm a big, not much big Michigan fan here. But nervous about the Ohio State game, It's always a nerve-wracking game.
So you're a big Michigan fan living in Elkhart in Notre Dame territory. That's interesting to me. So, first off, is Corum out?
I don't know. Harbaugh is just keeping it tight under wraps. Like he never says anything.
Yeah. Yeah, he's good at that. He's good at that. Let me ask you this.
He's either playing or not playing. I don't even know if Edwards playing.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, man. How can you defend Michigan's non-conference schedule? You have to admit it's a joke. And they used it. Listen, Hey,
Like,
didn't they used to have UCLA on this schedule and they bought them out and got them out and then put UConn in?
Yeah, they should have at least UCLA or another Washington game, which also got canceled.
Yeah. And so I get the scheduling model to make it, easier games not held against you. It's just hard to see them play nobody really up until Iowa, probably. It was like 6 weeks of nothing.
Like, honestly, scheduling like even a Kansas or Virginia could have been nice.
Yeah. So how are you guys feeling about this? It's very interesting talking to a Michigan fan. It's no secret I don't like Michigan, but I love this game because I love the rivalry. I mean, how are you?
I grew up here.
Yeah.
I grew up around these parts since I was a kid. Like, I was born in Michigan, raised here. So, like, a lot of my family are Michigan fans, and a lot of my family are Michigan State fans, and some Notre Dame fans in the family, too. So, it's a good mix of each.
Wow, you got a little bit of everything. So is everybody nervous for the game? It's a big one. When is the last time the game's been played with them both undefeated? You should know that. When's the last time they were both undefeated in this game?
I was still in elementary school at the time.
Wow. Say it's rare. I mean, that's rare. So let me ask you this. What do you think the odds are that the loser of this game still in the playoff with one loss in the Big Ten? What are the odds of that?
A lot will happen, and a lot will happen. I don't like it. Like, it's not going to feel right backing to the playoffs. It feels like, and also a Lions fan too. So it feels like the Lions going to the playoffs. Like, whenever they go.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm telling you, man, that Campbell dude, he is intense. Dan Campbell. That guy is dude, that dude is like ready to go, like ready to play right away. I don't know. So this is it's a big day for you guys. It's a big day.
Yeah.
And I don't know what's going to happen, but Saturday's going to be so exciting.
I'll probably need a bottle of tequila and a paper bag on hand. Like, I would be nervous.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Oh, man. So
with you guys, I honestly think you guys can beat USC. Like, USC is, like, where I think they're not special. They're not as physical as you guys.
Yeah, I just think it's total opposite styles of football. The way they want to play their games and the way they win it's the opposite how we do it. Something's got to give. Something's got to give. One of these ways has to work more than the other.
Yeah. It's a shame it's not being played in South Bend because the USC boys aren't up there to handle that cold weather.
Yeah, but when the way it goes, though, is with our deal with them, when it is a home game for Notre Dame, it isn't the last weekend of the year. It's always in mid-October.
Yeah.
And then when we go out, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we go out there, it doesn't matter what time of the year because it's LA. But I guess we accommodate them. It's usually October 15th, not too cold yet when we host them. But when they join the Big Ten, they're not going to have that luxury. You're going to be playing in Nebraska in minus 10 degrees on the plains. Welcome, LA.
Yeah, playing at the shoe, playing at the big house at 20, 30-degree weather with snow falling.
Iowa, Nebraska, Penn State, like anything northeast is going to be cold most of the year. I love it. I want to see how they're going to handle it.
It'll be great. Even UCLA. Like, honestly, I think one of them is going to lose to, like, IU or Purdue their first year.
Right. Yeah, it's going to be wild. That's just going to be a weird experiment seeing them in the Big Ten. It's hard to wrap my brain around.
Weird as seeing Cincinnati and BYU with Oklahoma and Texas for 1 year.
Yeah, it's going to be wild. So what's your confidence level in Michigan? 50-50? Do you feel pretty good about it? Are you giving Ohio State the edge? What do you think?
I say 50-50. They show me they can beat them, but winning in the shoe, that's a whole other story.
Yeah.
And that hasn't happened since I was 5. So
yeah, it's been a while. It's going to be interesting. Listen, as much as I dislike Michigan and Ohio State, really, but especially Michigan. Even I will admit, this is one of my favorite games of the year. I don't like Michigan or Ohio State, but I love the hatred. I love the intensity. I just love that.
Growing up, I hated Notre Dame just as much as I hated Ohio State.
Yeah, but like the intensity of the hatred is great.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. It's going to be interesting.
And going to Michigan and going like compared to over here, like I feel almost at home like being with my Michigan family because it's all just Michigan stuff, Michigan State stuff. It's like you see an in-state rivalry. Come back over here, but it's the whole like Notre Dame rivalry and all that. Like it's still like at work. That's all I hear. Like I wear a Michigan shirt, and Notre Dame guys are always wearing the wrong shirt. Like
yeah. So I don't know, man. It's going to be wild. I'll be watching closely. And if Michigan loses, you're going to have to root for Notre Dame that night. You ready to do that?
Hey.
You ready to do that? Let's go, baby.
If it comes down to it, it's good, I like USC anyway, so
yeah.
Like...
But it's like you're going to have to pick. Do I hate Notre Dame more, or do I want us to make the playoffs more? You're going to have to make a tough decision.
Yeah, and what it seems like anyone that's a lot of teams, or Georgia and Bama have shown where your conference is overrated when it seems, because both of them won natties without winning their conference.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know, man. It's going to be interesting, but enjoy the game and happy Thanksgiving. Thanks for calling. Give me a call back Friday or Saturday if you want.
All right.
Have a good one. Happy Thanksgiving. I'm not saying go blue. No, I can't do that. 703, you're talking to me. Good morning.
Good morning, John.
What's going on?
John, it's weird, man. All these, like, I didn't know Southern Cal had so many fans, man. They're finally crawling out of their shell from last year.
Oh, they're all appearing now. Hollywood's calling, and, we're all good to go now. They're all into it.
I'm feeling confident after the Clemson game, John. Like,
it's got to help. It's got to help, right? Like the roadmap for Clemson is a very similar one for Notre Dame in this game. If we were able to do it against them, why can't we do it against this group? I agree with that thought.
Mm-hmm. And I know they have a great quarterback in Caleb Williams, but he's working against UCLA's defense, which is Swiss cheese.
Yep.
And they had trouble against Utah's, and we're a more physical and talented group than Utah.
Yep. I feel the same way when you look at these defenses that USC's played, and then you look at and compare it to ours. The issue is all USC needs is 3 or 4 big plays, and they just scored 28 points. Like you could play really good defense 95% of the game. If the 5% are blown coverage touchdowns, you're kind of screwed. Like that's where I get into a trick box of you could play really, really good defense against a team like USC for 95% of the game. That 5% could beat you. Like you need to be good all day is my concern.
Yeah. Well, I'm really excited for Isaiah Foskey because he's from LA and he's never gotten to play LA. So just seeing him, I'm sure he's going to get a couple of sacks and a couple of big plays. So I'm definitely excited for him.
The other thing with him that I've thought about that crosses my mind is I'm not trying to get ahead of us, but I don't know what the bowl situation's like. There's this scenario where he doesn't even play in the bowl to get ready for the NFL. That's all the more motivation to go out, balls to the wall Saturday night if that's going to be your last game.
And, like, I was watching a USC show, and they're really worried about their special teams because they've struggled with their special teams all year. And we could have multiple block punts in this game. That would just be so huge.
I'm telling you, the one kick, the field goal, the guy tried to kick against UCLA, he chunked it like a 30 handicapper chunks a sand wedge from the middle of the fairway, just 8 inches behind it, just a big He totally chunked it. Let's go. Let's win this on special teams.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, we've never had this under Kelly, and to have it in the big games like this, like we had against Clemson, it's just so huge. It gives me so much more confidence that we'll hopefully win.
Yeah, the roadmap's there. It's crystal clear. Notre Dame just has to stay in the lane. You can't let this game start getting away from you, playing catch up. You're down 10. You can't. No, like we got to play the game our way, establish our tempo, and get after it. I think we're going to be ready. I'm not saying we're going to win for sure, but I think we're going to be ready.
Just Pine has to not throw any interceptions because USC has had they've had a very strong turnover margin. And if they don't have that, I feel like we'll be good to go.
Yeah, you can't, with an offense that dangerous, you cannot be giving them extra chances. You're dead. No, absolutely not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just hopefully Reese just, unlike Navy, Reese just sticks to the run way more than the pass. Because he got pass happy, and we almost lost to Navy because of that. So
yeah,
I just really hope he does stay smart.
Yeah, it's just not that art of an equation. Like power run the ball, and then they're going to have to step up in the box to slow that down a little bit. That's where Pine can take a couple shots. I think there's going to be tons of opportunities offensively. Notre Dame just has to navigate it the right way. Notre Dame doesn't have to do anything special. Do what we've been doing and do it all night and do it well. That's all it takes.
Mm-hmm. And with Minchey, I'm honestly really excited about it. It looks like he's going to be a great fit for Notre Dame. But Tommy Reese, the quarterback development, it scares me.
That's justified.
Going to ruin Kenny Minchey.
I'm telling you, it's justified. And this is a 50-50 thing. Half the fans want him gone. Half the fans love him. It's very, very difficult. I get the recruits like him. He's doing a good job there. Carr and his family love him. Minchey, his family love him. That's beautiful. I need the development part of this to make me feel better. I need it to look better right away to make me feel better. I also bring me Cutcliffe as an analyst, give him some extra support, keep the car on the road. And I don't mean CJ Carr. I mean the Notre Dame car. Keep it on the road. But the recruiting is good. Minchey Carr is a real quarterback room you could work with. What does the development look like, though?
And this is just such an important game because I don't want Lincoln Riley to go 1-0 against Notre Dame. I don't want Marcus Freeman to go 0-1 against USC. So it's really important to get this new era of the shillelagh get started in the right way.
100%.
Beat Southern Cal.
100%. Do you know how bad that hits me that we own this rivalry for 7 of the last 9, all of them since 16? And then year 1, we have new coaches, and you're going to let this guy, Lincoln Logs, blow into town, write a bunch of checks, and then, USC's good again, and they have the power and the dynamic? I don't freaking think so. No. Can't happen.
I just don't like the guy. Like, he just doesn't seem that likable since he got to LA. Maybe it's because he's just a USC coach, but I don't want him, and I don't like him. I want to see him lose, especially in Notre Dame.
Yeah, it's good offensive mind. His defenses are just not good. Not good at Oklahoma, not good here. Like, Notre Dame needs to just run it right up on them, man. Be physical. Take this game. Seize control of this game physically. Beat these guys up. They're not used to that kind of fight. They're not. Give it to them in the face. See how they react. Do they flinch? Let's see. Hit these guys.
Yeah. Well, I just really hope that we can make a New Year's Six bowl game if we win and end that streak. Because if we can end the New Year's Six bowl streak and still keep that 10-win streak going, I think this will be not a successful season, but definitely a step in the right direction for.
Yeah,
and we can really get the ball rolling with these recruits.
Yeah, it's kind of it's a great salvage job. Let's put it that. Like, you don't want to say a great season. You have 3 losses, 2 of them to nobodies. It can't be a great season. but I will say a great salvage job. I'll give him that, right? Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, think about it, man. Would you have Kelly beating Clemson and USC if they pull it off? There's no way I would ever pick Kelly to do that. No way. No way.
Yeah.
Nope. Seen enough. Oh, John, look what he's doing at LSU. Didn't do it here. Decade plus. Didn't do it here. Was never going to do it here. I just feel like I've already seen that there's a brighter light at the end of this tunnel, and I'm excited for the future.
And my mouth's watering to see Kelly get shellacked by Georgia.
I know. It's wild, though. It all worked out for Kelly. Then he ends up going to end up in the SEC championship year one. Whoever had that happening, Alabama having kind of a down year, like whatever. It's going to be interesting. We'll see what he could do.
Yeah, well, my Bama friend said that Saban's going to retire in 2 years, so hopefully someone else in the West can get better, or Bama can get better with a new coach.
That's interesting.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I thought he just signed an extension, though, in this offseason of like a long extension. Did he not?
Well, I feel like this contract extensions don't mean anything these days.
Yeah, you can get out of
Just like
anything if you want.
loses fire.
That makes sense. So I don't know, man. What do you think about Michigan, Ohio State? Does that interest you at all? Or are you all Notre Dame, LA?
I hate both teams, but it'll be a good game, and I'll watch it, and I'll enjoy it, even though I don't want to see either of them win.
I know. I'm rooting for an
More
asteroid.
so Michigan. More so I don't want to see Michigan win, but it just sucks how weak the Big Ten West was, because one of them is going to make the playoffs, unfortunately.
Yeah. And I think that's another reason them and the ACC are thinking about doing away with those divisions. And then it would just literally then be maybe a repeat of a game, but between the two actual best teams, not just one of them has 5 losses in that division. Remember the one year Northwestern played Ohio State, and I'm pretty sure they had 5 losses. That is an absolute joke that you have a 4 or 5 loss team playing for a conference championship. Total joke. So,
well, that's why I'm happy we're not in a conference.
Yeah, and I don't know. And it's going to be interesting when the playoff expands. If Notre Dame finds a way to financially stay independent and be viable, you could go 10-2 as Notre Dame, lose your 2 biggest games of the year, and still probably make the playoff almost every year. It's wild to think of Notre Dame having that kind of flexibility with access to a championship.
And I think we'll be able to win with recruits that Freeman's coming in, as long as the development's good. And I know it's going to be good for at least every position except quarterback. So I'm definitely excited to see us win playoff games. Unlike with Kelly, like I'll actually be going into these playoff games and thinking that we're going to get the win.
Yeah, it's interesting that here's what I've been saying all year, man. All year I've been saying everything that's going on here, the low end, Stanford, Marshall, the high end, Clemson, whatever, understanding it all. We all as Notre Dame fans need to know this is going to be Freeman's weakest team by far he's ever going to have in Notre Dame. Every team he has from now on is going to have better depth, more athletes, more talent, more quarterback potential, all of that. It's just going to get better. So that is my big takeaway from the entire year. Everything that's gone on, I need to understand it's with the weakest team this man's going to have here.
And that's just, oh man, it makes me so excited to see these more talented teams and hopefully win a couple national championships.
Could you imagine?
The future is so bright.
Could you imagine? Like, I mean, I can't even get that excited for it yet. But we're trending up, my friend. So what do you think happens in LA? You think Notre Dame pulls it off or what?
I think we'll pull it off. I think we'll win. Probably around, I'm going to go, I guess, 31-24 type win.
Yeah. Man, a few people have fallen on 24. A few people have fallen on 24. I would be impressed if we held them to 24. Against that offense, that'd be a great job. If you said to me, John, I'm not telling you anything about Notre Dame's offensive output, but they're only going to give up 24, I'd take that deal 100 out of 100 times. I don't know what happened. He dropped off. Sorry, didn't mean to hang up on you. You dropped off. People are having phone problems. Jeezy Pete's. Half the time I thought it was me. Half the time I think it's them. And then certain people call in crystal clear. Larry, happy Thanksgiving, John. Love your show. I appreciate that, and I love you for saying that. What else did I want to go to? Fighting Irish Faithful, it's good to see you here. And you know what else, Fighting Irish Faithful? I don't know if you're still here or not. I owe you a combo show or a Twitter space. I owe you something. Every time you reach out to do something, I'm in a position where I can't do it. I'm either watching the kid, like it's my turn to watch the kid while I just, it's always something, man. It's always something. So I will, I owe you for sure. Here we go. 219, you're on the line. Last call of the day. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, John. What's up, man?
I am just preparing myself for a big weekend in college football. What are you thinking about all this, man?
Oh, yeah. It should be fun. Multiple good games. Can't wait for Saturday night. But real fast, to get started here, I'd like to do a couple rants on college football in general.
Go. Hey, in that case, I'll just sit back and let you go. I don't have to do all the work. I'll sit back and let you go. Thank you.
Okay, let's think about this first. Lincoln Riley. How bad does he annoy you? How bad does it annoy you that the college football national media talks about how great he's been year one? I mean, come on, John. All they did was throw bags of cash. Their quarterback, their running back, all the receivers were on different teams last year.
Yep.
That is not some great turnaround. Anybody can do that.
That's what I've been saying all week. All you did is pick the spot, wrote a bunch of checks, and it doesn't really matter where the spot is. It could be any school if you're just going to write the checks and then do it that way. And so,
yeah, look at their roster.
Yeah.
It's just bought.
And even if it's legal, that's what people are saying to me. John, that's how it goes now. That's how this game's played with NIL and all that. It's legal. Even if it is, I just don't like it and don't respect it as much as somebody home growing and developing most of their roster and their talent. It seems like a shortcut to me and a little cheat code. Even if it's legal, I don't like it. Okay? So even if it's legal, I don't respect it as much as you building your program out the organic way. I don't care whether it's legal or not. I don't like it as much. Whatever.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, you can do it, but don't in the same breath tell me how great a Lincoln Riley year one turn the whole program around.
No, you know what you should do? Tell me who it is that wrote those checks and then write the article saying they changed everything in year one. It wasn't his damn money. Figure out whoever this is in LA that has all that dough. Write an article saying they changed the whole thing. It rubs me the wrong way, Adam. Listen, this isn't about contrasting styles in football. It's about contrasting styles in life.
Yeah, we hate everything they stand for. And they probably hate what we stand for, but I don't really care.
Me neither, but you're damn right. I hate everything about it. The fan base, the LA lifestyle, all those people. I've said it before. The whole state of California could crack off and fall in the damn ocean, and I wouldn't even think. I wouldn't even blink. That whole coast can melt off and break and go under the water forever. My blood pressure won't even raise. Do us a favor.
I love it.
Look at what you did. I was ready to end the show early and be calm. Now look what you did, Adam. You got me all wound up.
Hey, that's what I'm here for. My second rant, John, I think anybody that's a college football fan and really cares about college football is pretty knowledgeable on what they see on Saturday afternoons and nights. And I think watching that college football show and some of the rules they come up with is making everyone dumber. We're getting dumber watching it.
Yep.
How can you possibly? And I'm not saying I'm a fan of Clemson. Just say Clemson, for example.
That's the first one. They lost one game to Notre Dame at Notre Dame Stadium. Had a bad night. Notre Dame had a good night. Okay? They have one loss. But they're behind two lost teams. But they sit there on that show and say, oh, but if they win the ACC championship, which we won 28 straight ACC games, now they get to move ahead of these teams. How stupid is that comment?
Yeah,
Can you explain that to me?
It's wild. And you know what I really need to happen? When the playoff expands and all that changes, I really want them, the powers that be, to say, we're not having this committee. We're building our own rules and our own structure. You guys are out. It's a joke. And they have a checklist of excuses to go to and rationale. And that's what bothers me. They'll use one reasoning to do something one week, and then the next week use the opposite reason to do something else. There's no continuity. And then they just get up there and then mumble it, and then everybody just moves on.
I mean, the perfect example of what you just said, John, is LSU, right? Clemson loses to Notre Dame by 21 points. That, to all those people in the national media on that show, that eliminated them. That's what they've been saying for weeks. But LSU loses by 30 points to Tennessee at home, and they're right in the mix. They should make the playoff. Explain it to me. I'm telling you.
SEC.
They don't even know football anymore.
That's why. They want more than one SEC team to have a chance to be in it. But it's, man, it's really annoying. Yeah. And then the other thing is here's the other thing. It's like, well, you know, should we expand the playoff or not and all this stuff? Here's the one thing about that is, if you extend it to 12, at least that line of them messing up and leaving somebody out expands down to 13. Like, I'm not going to have that many complaints of team 13 not making it. They probably have 2 or 3 losses. At least if you expand that field, their margin for error of being idiots, you might mess up the seeding, but if you're a decent team, you're probably going to at least be in and have a chance. So at a minimum, at least that opens up their margin of error.
Yeah, but that was my 2 rants I had to get in today.
Oh, man, I appreciated that.
How you feeling? How you feeling about the game? I don't think I'm as confident as everyone else.
I'm wound. Here's where I'll feel better when we're like end of the first quarter and I see that the game's being played Notre Dame's way. That's when I'll feel better, no matter what the score is. Like after one quarter, if I just see we're making them play our game a little slower, methodical, maybe we get a couple 3-and-outs defense. I just need to see a little bit early to let me know we're on a good path, and then I think Notre Dame's in control.
Yeah, that's kind of, I mean, we were both at the Clemson game. You could tell right away we were going to be right in that game.
Yep.
And even the Ohio State game, the way that first half went, you're like, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll play with these guys.
Yep.
So
I don't know. So I'm wound a little tight. It is just the most interesting dynamic. It is 2 opposite ways of life. Fancy LA living versus, Midwestern, Northern Indiana. Just, it all couldn't be more opposites. And Adam, something's got to give. One of these ways is going to be better than the other one and has to win the day. I would love to think that old school physicality is going to win the day, but who knows anymore? I would like that, but maybe I'm just getting old.
I think it just comes down to if our defense can be hitting Caleb Williams and have him over there crying to Lincoln Riley. If you see that going on, it's kind of like, you see just a little bit of a head case. If you see them 2 arguing a little bit and we're hitting him, I think we can win. Yeah.
Yep. I agree with you. So you gotta cause some problems and make them play more of our game. I'm hoping our physicality and our defense will be a little bit of a surprise for them. I don't think they've seen anything like it, and I want that to throw them off. I need it to.
I truly don't think that they're worried about us at all. Because you don't really
Good.
Much of them talking about us. I truly think
love it.
The national media is acting like this ain't even going to be a game. Just move on to the
Good.
Vegas Pac-12 championship.
Beautiful. Love that.
Anyone pick.
Love it.
I don't think I've seen anyone pick Notre Dame.
And I mean, geez, did nobody watch the Clemson game? I know Clemson has issues, but geez, I mean, it's not like Notre Dame has no athletes and whatever, man. You know what it is. The media has a hard on to see LA be in the playoff and have an LA team to write about. The LA TV market, it's been dead so long in college football. Now they want it back. That's the angle too, man. A lot of that's the angle. They want to build up that LA market. The Heisman, the playoff, all of it.
I even saw a couple like SEC Network where they're even talking USC needs to run it up on Notre Dame. I'm like, man, they are getting no respect.
Good. That's totally fine with me. Let everybody tune in Saturday night and hopefully see Notre Dame out physical this team, ruin the Heisman, and then everybody else can see who's getting that playoff spot. Like, go ahead and underestimate us. That's fine. I hope the USC fans are overlooking us. All of that. Beautiful. Bring it.
Yep. It's perfect. Nobody thinks we have a chance. So let's go out there and wake them up real fast.
There we go. So, Adam, here's the deal. I want you to have a good Thanksgiving. I want you to relax with the family. And I want you to call me back either Friday or Saturday so we could reconnect before this.
Yeah, definitely. My wife was just back there yelling in the background. She wants Always Annoyed back.
You know what? Always Annoyed's coming back. I have a plan for that. I really do. I have a plan for that. And I also have a list, an ongoing list of additions. And I'm planning something for that, but it isn't ready yet. But I have an angle for that. Tell her. She'll get what she wants.
All right. Have a good Thanksgiving, Don. Give you a call Friday.
Yep. Take care, man. Have a good one. See ya.
All right. See you. Bye.
Oh, man. All right, folks. That's going to do it for the day. I got some other things to do. Irish Wire. Check it out later. I'm going to post something on Minchey and the quarterbacks. And then tomorrow is the holiday, but I'll put out a short video on something for that. And then we'll get into Friday's call-in, and then I'll probably have something Friday night to pump people up. So, happy Thanksgiving. I'm so thankful for all of you guys. There is no show without you. There's no Always Irish. This brand doesn't exist. This show, nothing. Thank you guys so much. You have no idea how much I appreciate the interaction. Even the trolls, I appreciate you. Everybody, safe travels. If you're going somewhere for Thanksgiving, be safe. Enjoy your time with your loved ones, the ones you actually like. Not all of them, but the ones you actually like. Life's short. Embrace them. Enjoy them. Be around them while you can. All right? We'll be back Friday with the call-in. Maybe you're hungover from Thursday. Give me a call. Have a good one, guys.